What is going on, everyone? My name is Boyd, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action sporting on the right side of the map in the red color playing as Poseidon. His name is Squash. His opponent today in the blue color playing as Odin. His name is I Bring Life, and the mistake that Shelty has made this game is apparent. I'll give chat till this timer reaches 40 to tell us what that mistake is. You've got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Guys? Anyone there? No Thor! Fenric wins the grand prize! Shelty changed from Thor, so obviously felt a little bit like he was abusing the best god in the game too much. So he's just changing things up a little bit. Going with like a little bit less strong of a god with Odin, like kind of tier like 1A, you know, tier 1A in Odin. So it's totally cool. So or he's just trying to style on Squash a little bit. You know, he took that first game with the impeccable Thor play. So got to shake things up and pull out the Odin here. I'm just kidding. Odin's a great god. Just fantastic. In fact, I do rate Odin's chances in all seriousness over Poseidon by just a little bit because of the Ulfsark, the Lone Wanderer Ulfsark, are really, really strong in this game against what Poseidon wants to do. And you can essentially force Poseidon players to have to go for something they don't want to do, which is Toxotes on this map. But even then, the Toxotes are probably not the best bet against Lone Wanderer Ulfsark anyways. I don't even know what Poseidon players should be doing. So we'll see what Squash is going to do, and we'll see if Shelty goes for that abuse there. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. A little bit of an interesting build order here from Shelty already. He has 4 villagers on gold already. I don't know if this is just so he can make sure that he gets out all of the dwarves. Shelty has been innovating a little bit with the Norse gods as of late. So I imagine he has these ideas in the back of his mind quite a bit. Now, the one thing that is the same for Odin that it is the same for Thor is that this starting hunt here is so very, very unnecessary to gather from in nearly every single matchup. Matchups where you probably don't have to care about this would be like your potentially your Isises, your Ras, against maybe Gaia. Probably don't have to worry about it against those. But every other god, you sort of have to worry about it. And if you've got a beautiful secondary hunt like this, there's no reason not to just go for it. So you eat one deer first, and then you move over here and you eat these deer, and then you come back onto the home deer with Great Hunt, and you feel really good about your decisions. Mum's happy with you, dad's happy. You know, you go into an Ivy League college, everything's going to be is going to be great. But we'll see if this impacts Shelty at all here, because we know from a fact and we know from experience that this Theseus is going to be making his way down here. He may decide that he wants to grab relics, but this is the Ford Temple. This is something that a lot of, I think Squash, someone else has been doing this as well, putting 4 temples on Marsh in order to pull these relics in nice and quickly. Let's check the relics out. We do have the Scarab Pendant here, 100% extra bonus damage against the buildings for the Siege Weapons, Hardest Folly, which is the Scout Line of Sight relic, and the Ship of the Fingernails, which is bonus food income, but Squash doesn't know about that. I'm honestly surprised that he's not coming over here and attempting to deny faster, but it is what it is. Do I see Ares? I like it. I like it a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Ares, mwah, on this map, with this gold mine, with this hunt, with this amount of disregard for your own safety, in your own huntability, I love it. He does have a really nice hunt patch over here, though. So, what's he going to do? He sees the Ford Temple. He sees the Ares. What do you do here? Longhouse, relatively forward here. No wall segments around this sentry tower immediately is a bit of a sad state of affairs. There's the Cyclops. There's the stable and the military academy. I love this from Squash. The military academy allows him to deal with those Ulfsark just a little bit better. So we'll see. It's probably a bad idea to cast Forest Fire here on this location. It's going to give oh. You're being Ares rushed and you're giving your opponent an extra 2 military units and sacking your classical age god power down. Yeah, like, fair enough. Like, each to their own. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do what you feel like. We do see a lot of wood villagers now over here for Shelty, so he's going to be trying to make what seems to be throwing axemen as well, and he's just got he just doesn't care. He does not care that he's being Ares rushed here at all, to no degree. And this is going to come in. Both of these military buildings are going to get prevented here, and then following that, these houses. He didn't wall segment the tower. These houses will be a very difficult target, but he does look like he's managed to push Squash back, and Squash doesn't cast Pestilence, which is a little bit surprising. Obviously, Pestilence, a pretty good god power. He's actually going after the Longhouse. We do see Lone Wanderer coming through, which is very smart. While you cannot train units in your military buildings, you can train technology. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shelty, what probably Shelty should have done was cancel this Ulfsark, get medium infantry while this is going on, and then restart it a little bit later. We do see, meanwhile, this is all going on. The Ulfsark making their way forward. He's got 5.28 speed now with the Lone Wanderer, but he's being pushed off this gold mine, and Odin is showing why he's not as good as Thor in this matchup here, because he doesn't have that extra 1,000 gold dwarven gold mine to cast right now to defend himself. But he does have these Ulfsark that he can raid with, so we'll see if he can make anything happen there. Do we see medium infantry? No medium infantry just yet. The Ulfsark spamming out here. Longhouse just about to fall. Luckily for Shelty is getting a lot of food income because Squash is just allowing him to gather from the deer down there. We do see one dwarf. Looks like it is just about to fall there. The Ulfsark coming in, going to be attempting to fight this location here. He does have the numbers advantage, but he is only Ulfsark. The Ulfsark died very quickly, but he's doing some nice focus firing here. Meanwhile, he's almost lost units. He does lose one, so he's not even get the Odin regeneration there. The Ox card gets sniped as well, and now Shelty is going to be struggling to get a gold mine, but you do see the villagers pulled off this deer here, going onto the gold mine. I like that play. He needs to make some throwing axemen at this point because there are hoplites, so you can defend against them. We see the Ulfsark still running rampant on this location. I love this play from Shelty, getting the advantage where he can. He can sacrifice his buildings and such, but the problem that has arisen from the building placement that Shelty has done is he's got a lot of value that can be taken here in this house, and in this house, in this sentry tower. Everywhere in his base, basically, from the forward locations, he can be attacked in. And the Ulfsark do look like they've taken another fight, getting some more value here. Squash still trying to put the pressure on. A lot of pigs left here, but not a lot of food income at all. Would have liked to see these deer grabbed or snuck for that as an option here as well. But it looks like he's going to play safe, and I don't mind playing safe here when you're under this amount of pressure. But only 5 villagers on the gold mine. We'll see if Squash ever decides to make his way over here. And he is going for this gold mine. As he sees it, Shelty should run immediately here, but he's too busy focusing on his Ulfsark. The villagers making their way away. Luckily for them, the Cyclops cannot pick them up, because if they're moving, the Cyclops just decides to go into his animation and never finish it, ever. Hey, thank you so much for the Prime kit, man. Appreciate it, man. And the villagers stopped, but he's going to get back into his base. And now, Shelty just goes back calmly onto that gold mine. And he's actually not in a bad position here at all. Problem that he has got is he's not wall segmented his towers. So he's got no watchtowers to defend here. and he's going to be losing everything, so he's going to have to fight. He should wait until these Ulfsark are back, though. That's 8 units here. Obviously, these units are very, very slow to run away, so it's totally fine if he comes in behind with these units. He's going to take down the Cyclops there, and the Ulfsark going to attempt to get a surround here as the units making their way back. As the Ulfsark see them, they're going to start attacking, try and get a surround, maybe get some ghost buildings down. He does have enough to build one longhouse. The Ulfsark tearing through Squash's army, but Squash is just calmly walking away. He does not care too much as there's no ghost buildings down, and now there is no surround from Shelty here. And like I said, you probably don't want to engage until those Ulfsark come because of things like this. If he waited until the Ulfsark were back here while those units were still pushing through, he probably could have caught him out just a little bit more, got a little bit more value out of that, but did not happen. Meanwhile, Squash, 85 population. Shelty, 101 population, but no medium infantry. He needs to think about getting it, and he is getting it. So where can he go now? Does not want to fight just yet. No fighting just yet until medium infantry comes through there. Toxotes here as well. So he does need to consider getting out some Valkyrie to deal with those, or just going for raids here while the immobile Poseidon army is dealt with. We are seeing Squash splitting his army up, trying to chase the Ulfsark around, and now Shelty is ready to move in here and cut this army off. Happily fighting this. He's not paying attention, though. The Ulfsark come in here, and they do dodge basically everything with their movement speed. Coming in from the back, coming in from the front. Everything is going up Shelty's way here, but Squash moving more hoplites into this fight. There is no upgrades currently for Squash, so this Norse army should be able to completely decimate Squash, but yet again, Squash just calmly and collectively retreating away, not taking the fight too seriously, not going too hard, not overcommitting, or maybe a little bit overcommitting, but not taking the fight at the very least. But he will be losing a little bit of HP on his army as he retreats. He does decide in this moment to turn around and fight on this front here. He does have the Toxotes in the back and the Ulfsark in the front, all getting torn to pieces here. But the throwing axeman dealing a lot of damage here. He needs to focus those throwing axemen onto the hoplites if he wants to win this fight. Meanwhile, the Ulfsark winning at the top here, and the throwing axeman about to get completely cleaned here from the Hippolyta, from the Toxotes. The throwing axeman only has 10% PS armor, so those Toxotes do so much damage. Now Shelty at 86 population, Squash at 85 population, so very, very close on the population count here. We're going to be seeing Shelty going for some raids here. He spots the wood villagers, but decides, oh no, he doesn't. He's deciding to go in here. He should be able to get a villager kill or two. As Squash is not paid attention, he does decide to turn around and try and fight these Ulfsark here. So long as he retreats out of here, okay, he's going to get the Odin regen to keep these Ulfsark alive. But does he get out? He's alive with 1 HP, and he does manage to retreat there. So he's able to keep all of these Ulfsark alive if he does retreat well enough at this point. Now we see the gold mine has expired for Shelty, so this is going to be a big test right now. Is Squash going to the next stage? No. Does Squash have any Cyclops? No. Can Squash gold starve here is the big question. We don't see any Valkyries coming out of this temple just yet, and that's a big problem right now for Shelty, because those Valkyries would do very, very nicely. We see a bunch of Ulfsark not in position, and Squash wants to get this attack. He wants to come in here and destroy what Shelty has been building here. Take this gold mine away from him. This is not the fight you want to be taking until the Ulfsark are here, and Squash is getting some good value in this fight here with the Toxotes yet again. The Hippocon, while they have low hack armor, they're not the best. It's not the best trade for either player, to be honest. 5 damage versus 10 damage, so the Hippocon kind of win a little bit, and they have more HP, I guess, so they do win in that in the end there. And we are going to be seeing a little bit of a lull here unless Squash is ready to just all in this location here. Shelty's got a lot of villagers on food right here in the front. He's got 20 villagers on food, almost out of pigs as well. He is attempting to build more and more. If I was Shelty, cancel the Ulfsark reduction. Get some Valkyries out. He's got 1. That's perfect. Get more Valkyries out. Those are the key to winning this fight here. And we are seeing the Ulfsark coming around the back yet again. And this is exactly what he wants. If he can get the Ulfsark onto the Toxotes ball here, he's going to be very, very happy. And he does come in. But this is not the fight. He needs to get the Ulfsark onto the Toxotes, because the Toxotes win if they are not getting attacked, basically, in this fight. We just see that the Valkyrie is getting a lot of HP taken down by that Hippolyta, and she dies incredibly fast here if you don't deal with the Hippolyta, and he finally attempts to take down the Hippolyta here. He does manage to snipe that one. Now Toxotes going to have to retreat here, but Squash is slowly but surely pulling ahead here on the economy, it looks like, as Shelty, for some reason, is struggling. Squash getting his Jason, or his Theseus, I should say, and Hippolyta back out, moving forward onto the Water Buffalo in the middle of the map, ignoring these boar for some reason, where his army all is. The Toxotes trying to do some shoot and scoot micro a la Age of Empires 2. You love to see it. Valkyrie taking a lot of damage here from the Toxotes because he's not microing that by itself there. Could have been dodging the arrow fire. We just see some Toxotes popping out straight onto the Toxotes. We see one villager attempting to go for the fight of his life against the Water Buffalo, and he does end up losing his life there. And Squash, Shelty still not able to get to the next age here with no armory up just yet. We see some military units coming over here, picking off these villages. This is why I said he should come down to this location. He's got deer here. He's got 4 boar. There's no point in staying up here on these Water Buffalo at this stage in the game. And now it's basically Toxotes against Throwing Axemen here as the game progresses, and the Ulfsark trade for Hippocons and the armies end up turning into Throwing Axemen against Toxotes, and the Greek player will end up winning those. But more Valkyrie are popping out here. It's not enough. You need to get the Aurora Borealis upgrade for the Valkyries, as well as having a bunch of them for him to start winning these fights, because only 12 hack damage just is not enough. The villagers do finish up on the Water Buffalo. Squash moving forward here, trying to take the Water Buffalo away from Shelty here, and the Throwing Axeman dying as Shelty decides that that's the game there. GG, well played. I don't think that this game was quite over here for Shelty, but he does decide to tap out in this moment. And this sort of all comes down to forgetting the win condition of Norse in this Poseidon War. The win condition for Norse is getting Skadi. If you get, well, it's not. It's more like the lose condition, if I do think about it the right way. If you don't get Skadi in a timely fashion, you'll generally lose the game. If you get Skadi, you're in it with a very strong chance to win. And Shelty just disregards that piece of knowledge there, going for this forward hunt instead of this hunt over here. Could have grabbed this, gone for the heroic age, and then gone for like pure Huskal to push through this, transitioning into raiding cavalry Jarl against Hypaspis and go for a late game fight here. I just don't see the point in bashing your head against a Greek army. The Greek army is just going to win the attrition war here. If we check the post game out quickly, not the text game there, post game, we see the military here. It's pretty even. The timeline on the resources, it's pretty even. How many resources more does he have? 1674 and 17 and 15. 16. So it's about 1,000 resource different, and that's probably simply because Shelty decided to go for this hunt instead of this hunt. He would have had that extra 1,000 resources as well. It's just a big question mark here why Shelty even decided to resign at this point. Like, what's... Sometimes the mental is a big problem here. You're playing against a player as good as Squash, and you just feel like there's no way for you to win. Anyways, that's the game. We've got one more game to go. If you're enjoying these games, please hit the follow button on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.